Good evening, my fellow citizens. This government, as promised,
I have ordered attack on enemy military targets.
There can be no greater good than the quest for peace, and no finer purpose than the preservation of freedom.
We were unrepping every 3 days, 6,200 of them over the course of Operation Desert Storm. From an intensity standpoint, doesn't get much more intense than that. We prefer to do replenishment at sea, where you have running room. That way, we didn't have all the complications of trying to enter port and go pierside with the carrier. I mean, that's bad because they're big and it's risky to go into some of the confined spaces. And secondly, you make pretty good target when you're just going slow. The primary ways for the material to transfer from the supply ship to the receiving ship, the carrier in this case, is one of them is when you go alongside, you get really close, about 150 feet away from the supply ship. That sounds like a big distance, but this is a big ship, 1,000 feet long, and it doesn't take too much if you're only 150 feet away to create some problems.
With a 70,000-ton ship, the momentum is such that you can make an adjustment and nothing happens right away. It requires a good deal of skill and finesse.
It's like flying formation with a car. You just gotta, stay in your lane as you turn.
When you get that close, then you run some cables across, and there's pulleys and a kind of a car underneath. That's how you transfer pallets going back and forth.
You got 6 hoses, 3 of them for aviation gas, 3 of them for bunker fuel. You pump 3,000 gallons a minute through each one of those hoses. And so even at 3,000 gallons a minute, you're burning 120,000 gallons a day of diesel fuel and 120,000 gallons a day of aviation fuel if you're operating. So 3 days, you're down to 70% of your onboard capacity, and you want to be topped off above 70% all the time in case somebody says, go to Taiwan or go to anywhere. And the first thing they ask is, where's the carrier and how long will it take to get there? So you can't say, oh, excuse me, I gotta go get some gas. You gotta be ready to hit the road and get where they want you to go.
The other way to bring material aboard is with a helicopter. It's called VERT-REP, or vertical replenishment, and they would pick up pallets of material in a cargo net on a pendant, bring it over to the after part of the carrier's flight deck, drop that onto the deck, and then that would be distributed from there. It's always a goal to get the material struck below as quickly as possible. While we're doing the unrep and while we're having all these pallets and whatnot going around, it's very difficult to fly, and flying is the primary mission of the ship and also the primary defense, and so we want to get it cleaned up really quickly. So what we do is we have working parties. There would be an assessment for sailors from each of the departments, and they would come help bring this material aboard and help hand over hand send it down into the storerooms. We wanted to do it quickly, but we wanted to do it very carefully because there are lots of different parts and lots of different storage areas on the ship. 50,000 different parts for the aircraft, another 35,000 different parts for the ship. Right, and if you just stuff this down into a storeroom like you may put stuff in your garage, take you forever to find it, right? And so you have to be careful enough to mark and know the locations. Nearly every day we had carrier onboard delivery aircraft. They would fly from the shore with crew that were coming aboard, high priority parts. The mail itself, getting letters from home were really, really important, and there were just tons and tons of this stuff. So that made it on that carrier onboard delivery, of which we got during the most intense days in Desert Storm, we'd have like 3 cod deliveries coming to the ship. There's 4,500 sailors on the Midway, but those, in order to do their jobs, need all of the amenities as well as the necessities that would be in a small city of 4,500 people.
You can't forget the people who make this ship work.